to suspect there might be more to life, and maybe even more to you, and you don't know where to find the answers. Maybe you're looking for a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Maybe you just feel called to go on an inner journey or to explore our outer world. Then stick around, because you're about to go on an adventure, and it might just be the beginning of something really, really special. So I'm Katie from ZenBooking, a retreat and venue booking platform, and joining me today is retreat organizer Cindy Lobo, who specialises in self-development, leadership development, shamanic practices, and several healing modalities. Her retreats frequently sell out, and she's currently got 4 retreats listed on ZenBooking, which will no doubt go the same way. Cindy, welcome to the ZenBooking studio. It's very nice to meet you.
Thank you. My pleasure too.
All of your retreats are in Tanzania,
Yes.
so let's start there. For those who've never been, and that would include myself, I have been to parts of Africa, but not Tanzania. What's it like there? Take us to Tanzania.
Wow. Tanzania. Well, it's been my passion to live in Tanzania for a long time. First time I came to Tanzania in 2002, actually. I came as a volunteer living in the Maasai steppe, living with the people, and I basically stayed. I have a long experience here. It's a very peaceful country. Of course, the nature is stunning. The people are so lovely. It's a real place where you can get to yourself and where you can kind of unwind from all that busyness. Of course, there's African busyness as well, but in generally speaking, the food is great, the nature is great, the people are lovely. So I felt called to actually bring more people to Tanzania and to experience it in a different way.
It sounds a little bit like the way we're supposed to live without all of the added stresses of digital media and our fast-paced lives. Maybe this is almost not going back in time, but a way of living that we've left behind in a lot of the Western world. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I find that, and not just me, but even the people that come here, Tanzania brings you back to the essence of things. It brings you to a place where you find yourself connected to that essence of life. So you're absolutely right. That's exactly what it is.
And what brought you there? You said that you were living with the Maasai people. Were you on a retreat yourself to begin with?
No, what brought me here is a deep inner calling, to be honest. Since ever I was a child, I said later on I'm going to live in Africa. And so I did. I found my way here as a volunteer first. For 5 months, I stayed in a Maasai village without electricity, without phone connection, without anything actually. Just simple, plain, slow living. That's what we did there. There's nothing else than that. And I kept coming back the years after and after till I met my husband as well. And been living here for a long time. I also moved to Europe for the past 10 years, and we're actually now moving back this year to Tanzania to actually stay here and host the retreats and bring more people to find also the connection back with nature and themselves in this country.
And do you have any personal connection with Tanzania? You said that you as a child, you always felt that you wanted to go somewhere in Africa. Is it Tanzania in particular that you had an idea of going to, or why Tanzania?
Oh, well, that's also kind of, I would say maybe just life taking me here. I had on my list, there was Kenya, there was Tanzania, there was Zambia, actually. I've been also to South Africa frequently, but it was Tanzania, and it ended up being Tanzania as the place where I feel most at home. I speak the local language fluently, and it wasn't love at first sight, though, to be honest. It was something that grew. The first couple of weeks were quite intense when I came here for the first time. But after a while, it's something that has changed me profoundly on the inside. And I look so forward to bring so many people here to experience the same thing. And people do.
Okay.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Well, I have to say, having been to South Africa and Namibia and Zambia, I can understand that lasting feeling that you get. There's something that just doesn't quite go away. And I haven't been back since the trip that I made, and through Botswana as well. but there's something in me that really would like to go back, and experience that again. Anyway, this is about you. So let's get on to your retreats. You've got 4 very different sounding retreats listed on ZenBooking. So today we're going to focus on 2 of them. One of them is described as an inner goddess retreat in Zanzibar, and the other a soul leadership retreat in, I think it's pronounced Ngare Nanyuki in Momela. Okay, so let's start with that one. Could you describe the area it's in? The photos on your ZenBooking listing of star-filled night skies, Maasai tribespeople, a boutique lodge with lush gardens all around it. This place looks pretty amazing.
Yes, this is actually, we're really making a journey. From the moment you arrive here, we first start at a boutique lodge here actually in Arusha. This is like the bigger city, the safari capital of Tanzania. So that's where you stay in these lush gardens, in these bandas in this garden. But it's beautiful, it's stunning, and it's all conditioned. And then we go out to the Maasai Plains, which is a raw, natural scenery where there's nothing conditioned. It's just as pure as you get it. And that's where we stay for around 6 nighs in this eco lodge built by the Maasai, fully like living in their type of thatched rooms, thatched huts, where we stay with them and experience how it is to be completely surrounded by just 3 mountains, the Mount Kilimanjaro, Mount Meru, and the Mount Longido. You're in the middle of that space, empty plains, just filled with only trees, shrubs, animals, nothing else. That's all you see. And
What does that?
it does something to the soul directly.
That's exactly what I was about to ask. What does that do to a person to be so close to the essence of our earth? How does that kind of,
Yes.
what's the effect you see on your retreat participants?
So when they came out there, and there's a specific place where you stand and have a view over the plains, everyone turns silent. That's the first thing that happens. It's like, whoa. And it really hits you. And from that moment, we all go into silence, actually. You start to gaze at that space around you, and it just changes instantly where you came from and where you're going. It's an instant moment of where you actually come to realize, wow, I have not been in a place like this before. And yet at the same time you recognize it, and it's something where you feel you want to belong. So it's a very strange feeling, but this is and it's so beautiful to see that happening too. I witness it. I just stand there and I know this is what is happening with them. That is the start of the journey, now going deeper within, with that as your surroundings, even waking up. All the rooms there have little verandas. And in the morning, you get a cup of tea on your veranda and you sit there just gazing at that vast emptiness. That's how you start your day, in that silence, looking the sun come up. I mean, this is what they talked about. All the participants talked about how the start of your day in that type of surrounding, in that environment, is already so different how they start their days at home, right?
It's
And
kind
that
of
feeling that they get there, that's what it's about. This is the feeling that they are looking for, and that's a kind of remembering, I would almost say.
a kind of life affirming start to the day, I suppose.
Yes.
It's that remembering almost what's important before the chaos of the day starts. And maybe
Exactly.
our part in the world, I suppose. Seeing the bigger picture, I guess, before you zoom in on all those little details that we get lost in.
Exactly. Now, it's also a remembering of being part of a whole. So it's in that sitting there on that veranda and seeing the sun come up, and it's like time is just how it is supposed to go. Time is just passing by. You're part of it. And you realize that you're actually part of a bigger circle, instead of how you might wake up and run your life and do your things, and you're just so focused on just that little thing that you are doing. But sitting on that veranda, you actually feel it all, see it all, that there is something timeless about this, and I'm part of it, even though my lifespan is just maybe 80 years, but this is where I'm part of. Yeah.
And over those 8 days or the subsequent 7 or 8 days, you offer your participants everything from cacao ceremonies to workshops, massage and natural healing, nature walks, and wildlife safari. How is all of this designed to build their leadership skills and qualities? How does that ultimately affect them, their leadership?
Yes, that's a great question. Well, in leadership, it's all about how you lead yourself eventually. So these leaders coming on these retreats, they know they've been their seasoned leaders, so they know how the normal management type of thing goes. That's not what they look for. They look for a deepening of their leadership experience, and then they have to go back to themselves. So in this retreat and the way it's built, we unravel. So we start in the beautiful conditioned world, and then we unravel a bit more. We go to the kind of Maasai plain where there is like a raw natural beauty. They get the leadership wisdom workshops. It's a 2-day workshop, and after that, we actually go even deeper into the bush. We really go to the bare lands where there's nothing at all than just elephants, wild animals, lions, cheetahs, nature. And we camp there for a night, sitting in the fire and experiencing the essence. And that is what they then bring back into their leadership. So they've come back to themselves, like, what is the place that I want to lead from? What is that? How do I actually make a difference in the people's lives that I'm leading, in my companies, my organization, the teams that they're leading? And when they have found that place, that uniqueness of themselves, basically, it's very different way of connecting now outwards to the team members or the companies that they lead. They have learned to slow down, and how that slowing down is actually amplifying the results that they look for. So instead of going crazy in the rat race, right, and the pressure of, that's all around modern day leaders, all the changing times, all the uncertainties that they're managing, actually the movement is inwards instead of outwards, even though you feel pressure to move outwards. This retreat teaches them to go back to the essence of things and align there first, and then step outside and keep on leading the companies and the people that they lead.
So they kind of get that perspective, I guess, that helps them to make more considered decisions. It's about kind of being able to stand back almost and not get caught up in those or in the pressures of the moment. How does it manifest, I suppose, in their work?
And it's more than that. In their leadership wisdom workshop, they learn to use their multiple brains. So they learn to use not just their head brain, but they use to learn their heart brain and their gut brain much more. And it's that aligns multiple brain functioning that actually deepens their leadership performance as well. So it's not only to step back, but it's actually to use other aspects of your being into your leadership, while maybe before you had only done that partially. You were not aware what it brings you if there is clarity, like full-blown instant clarity on all the things that you have to do. And it's a gateway that I'm providing in the retreat, and they're building neurological pathways basically within themselves to different places, to different foundations of wisdom within. So that manifests itself by having a different connection to people. So this is one of the feedback that I've been getting after they've come back. They're not just at the workplace, but also their loved ones. They've mentioned how they've changed, how it's been much more, how much more connected they feel, how much more space there seems to be for everyone to be there with their own things. And there's a depth to the connection that wasn't there before. And the people they've been leading, they experience that as very pleasant, as a kind of, they can breathe again. Even not just the leader, but the people that they lead feel that they can, I feel seen, I feel there's space for me to be who I am, and I can bring my talents more out. So it has really been the leaders that have been on the retreat, they have let me know that they feel so much more grounded. They feel stronger, steadier in their leadership, and they have more clarity even though they're difficult challenges that they are facing, they know what to do to come to another sense of clarity in every challenge that they come across. And the people they lead, they have experienced and they have let them know that they feel so much more seen and respected. Not respect is not the right word, but seen and accommodated to actually also show new sides of themselves in the work that they do, and they don't feel rushed or stressed. They actually help them to bring down those stress levels. Yeah.
I'm guessing that this is something that they can continue to do on a long-term basis, because the positive impact of this change in their approach is a kind of motivating factor almost. So it helps to perpetuate this behavior, and it's not something that they have to keep going and kind of practicing or going back to. Would that be fair to say?
Well, I've taught them ways they can actually find that core, that essence, time and time again. So they do have to practice. They do have to keep on being somehow a little bit disciplined into nurturing what they have started here, right? I mean, this is 8 days. It's transformational. But it's only 8 days. So you do have to keep it alive and remember and go back to maybe your journal, or go back to meeting up in our groups, because we do meet up. We have our WhatsApp groups, and meet with the other members that have been on the retreat if you feel like, so that you keep on feeding and nurturing this new pathway that you have developed. It's a path first, and to make it a highway, a neurological highway within yourself, that only comes with practice. And so in that sense, it's keeping it alive. And they do that with the music that we use on the retreat, or they do that in their own breathing sessions or meditations. I give them the tools how they can keep that alive. And of course, I'm always there, and they can reach out, and we share about that still now. Yeah, we keep on sharing.
And in your bio, you mentioned that you use, is it mBIT? Is it multiple brains integration techniques? And you've talked a little bit about the head and the heart and the stomach. Are these the kind of techniques that you also teach them to use again and again after the retreat?
Yes, absolutely. That are techniques that are relatively easy to use. You can do them on your own after you know how it works. So that's exactly what we use in this retreat as well.
And how is all of this taught on your retreats? I mean, what kind of exercises do you do? You've talked about meditation and breathing exercises. Is that done in the great outdoors? Is that done in a particular way? How do you actually kind of transfer this knowledge and experience?
Also a great question. Well, I've built the retreats to not only learn from the head, but to also experience it. So that's why we have the cacao ceremony at the beginning, which is more of a felt experience where we open basically ourselves. And then we go into a kind of workshop mode where we are in a workshop room where we go through 2 days of different exercises. I use mBIT as how it's called, and I use NLP as well. There are different modalities and there are different exercises. So the exercises are built around them experiencing their multiple brains, and by learning how to apply it for themselves. So we use, of course, we have a reader, there's a presentation, there's music, there are different exercises. So they also get some, I wouldn't say homework, but home play, some things they can exercise on their own. And it's like a journey in itself, again, those 2 workshop days. So at the end of the 2 workshop days, they've experienced different things and learned new techniques as well, of which is breathing. It's not just the breathing, but it's also techniques as how you feel in your body, what is important at that moment in a particular challenge. So we work around leadership challenges that they have. And then at the day after, they take a full day for contemplation, and they actually prepare they prepare themselves for a fire ceremony. And the fire ceremony is the moment where they say goodbye to all the things that no longer serve them in their leadership, things that they have uncovered in those 2 days before, that they actually feel like this no longer should be in my leadership. I'm past that point now. And then in the fire ceremony, we say goodbye to those things. And that's a magical moment where we literally throw that in the fire, and we are surrounded by the Maasai people that are witnesses of that incredibly important transformational moment, where you actually let go of the things that no longer serve you. And it's witnessed, so you don't do it on your own. We're all there and we're supporting one another, but it's that moment. And so that's something they don't forget.
It sounds really powerful, and I can imagine that for some of your participants, it might be the beginning of some really big changes in their personal, but certainly their professional lives. Do you have people who've maybe gone and changed everything they do, who this has really impacted in quite a big way?
Yes, and I have people who have had a profound transformation at the retreat itself, and that is also in terms of health-wise, for instance, like understanding the relationship between the stress that they're experiencing in their leadership lives and their personal leadership, for instance. That is a very big insightful moment. And they want to come back and bring their families, not on the retreat, but at least to Tanzania, and they want to come back and visit the places where they have had those, profound moments in their lives of transformation. So they are much more open for new experiences. And this is like decisions around what to do with their companies, for instance, and coming into clarity that, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And of course, that is long-term decisions, but we're taking little steps right now that are already making the change. So I have people that have actually started making changes in their companies, which have an enormous impact for the future of their companies.
Wow. Okay, so before we move on to the next retreat, just tell me, what kind of people is the leadership retreat for? I mean, is it people who are really, the CEO of a company, and would it be a large company, or can you be a leader of a school, for example? Who's this for?
Yeah, it can be different types of leader. I would advise only that they are seasoned leaders, so not just new in your leadership journey, where you just start to lead a team. I think that is a little not this level. These are leaders. So I've had management consultants that are very experienced in management in different companies, for instance, but they just run their own company on their own, but they're actually more at different management positions in different companies. I've had owners of multiple companies, not necessarily that they are too big, but they own multiple companies with multiple teams. I have had people who are more on the higher CEO level type of roles. So it is for all types of leaders. It doesn't matter if it is a commercial company or an NGO or a school, or that doesn't matter. But it's more about, you need to have had some experiences in leadership so that you understand that actually where we're going is the place of your leadership now from within. That you can make the translation and actually can apply it back when you come back at your in your work field, that you actually have that ability to make those changes as well, because of where you've come from and you've been through all the regular. I've had a corporate career myself, so I understand that growth that you'll go through as a leader. So if you have been there, you've seen it all, then this is the great retreat to go to.
Okay, so let's move on to one of your other retreats. So this one is the Inner Goddess Retreat, and this one's happening in November and takes place in Zanzibar, which is a little island, a Tanzanian island. I'm guessing this place has a whole different feel to it. Can you give us a description of what your guests will find when they get there?
Yeah, when we talk about Zanzibar, it's a very central place, according to me. And it has that whole vibe, the Arab vibe mixed with the African vibes. It's a very special, unique place. Very different from what we just talked about, which is, the Maasai warriors and the wildlife, etc. This is ocean, this is flow, this is nice scents and spices. This is completely different. And I find it the perfect location to host a women's retreat. So this is a women's only retreat where we're really gonna sink into all that rich, lush experience and sink into ourselves basically as well. So
wow. And so your guests get there, I think, later in the day, so they'll have their evening, go to bed, and I guess they just wake up in this beautiful place. What's the first thing that happens to them? How does the whole thing kind of unfold?
yeah, well, the first thing to get used to here is, of course, the sunrise. So we wake up with the sun, and then there's that ocean sound of, the sea, the breeze, the sea, and there you walk out just out of the beach villa. You walk onto the beach, and you can just be there for a moment and enjoy the ocean, enjoy the sounds, enjoy the lighting, because the light is different. And then we have breakfast at the terrace of our private villa, where they will prepare breakfast, and we just unwind. That's the first day. That's the first morning. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, get used to being on your own and not having any of your many hats on as a woman.
Yeah. So it's a very different experience of starting your day. Yeah.
Yes. And it says on your listing that on day 3, participants will receive powerful, is it Nusta Karpay initiations to heal and restore your
Yes.
feminine energy. What is that? Can you tell us more about that?
Yes. Yes. So the Nusta Karpay initiation is originally coming from the Andes, but can be applied to everywhere, every place. And it's all about balancing, restoring the balance between the masculine and the feminine energy. So we're so used in our Western world to strive, to work hard, to perform. It's all that you have to make it happen. You have to do well, like you go out there. But in the Nusta Karpay, we're working actually more on the feminine qualities of our energy, which is more about receiving, about letting things come to you, about kind of softening up inside, and in that sense healing inside. So those initiations are spread over 2 days. So we just do half day, where we go through a circle of rituals. There are actually 7 rituals that we'll be hearing. I will be taking them through those rituals. And every ritual is powerful on its own, and they go back a different layer in themselves, where there's a kind of softening up, letting go, opening up, receiving new feelings, new input, new, instead of doing. So that is what we'll be doing for 2 days. And I will be giving them also some tools that they can use to keep this alive when they go back to the retreat.
Okay. And how does that help them, I suppose, help your guests in their day-to-day lives? What can they do with that softening, that greater ability to receive in their day-to-day lives?
Yes. So many women, they struggle with balancing their energies. So because of how the outside world demands, our current day life demands from us. So having learned how they actually can withdraw from that for themselves, take a moment, with what insight they can connect to actually let that stress not build up, but to relax deeper. So that is how that will help them in their day-to-day lives when they're back home and everything starts to again coming back at you. They have now a way, and that's actually a ritual that I will teach them. And people that have gone through this, they tell me about that too, that they go back to their little altar basically, and they make connection with these aspects and these rituals that they've learned in the Nusta Karpay initiations to get some relief, to get some space for themselves, to get back in touch with themselves instead of keep on running in the rat race and losing yourself basically out there. Yeah.
It feels almost like you give them self-protection tools. It's like you can put a little sort of magical shield around yourself and let things just bounce off a little bit more so you can preserve something inside.
Yes. That's one way of saying it, but I would rather put it as tools to nurture themselves. So
Okay.
it's the nurturing that we'll be doing a lot in this retreat. It's all about nurturing ourselves, and in different ways. Again, I don't only believe in like learning from the head, but also having a physical experience of the nurturing. That's why we also do a lot of body work in this retreat. So there are multiple massages that they go through that they can receive, all to add to that feeling of being nurtured.
Okay. And I'm guessing this helps in the long term to prevent things like physical ailments that can manifest, when we do bottle up all this tension and stress and sometimes resentment as well, let's be honest, all those negative things that can come out of just keeping on. And so what else is happening over those 8 days? I think there are other activities and experiences that your guests are given.
Yes. So this is also just about having fun and being playful, because that's also one of our feminine qualities, to just be playful and have fun. So we go out to swim and snorkel. We go out to a beautiful place, and we might swim with wild dolphins there. So that's one of the activities we do in one day. It's a half-day tour. We also go and visit next to the beach villa. We'll be also visiting Stone Town, where we stay in a former princess palace. Again, very beautiful rooms, very nice place to be. And we also will go out on sundown cruise on a boat out on the ocean. We will be going to a unique spa in Zanzibar, where we'll be having a workshop where we learn to make some of the oils that we'll be using for ourselves. And of course, they'll be getting a massage there as well. So they're very nice, interesting activities that we really will enjoy as a group of women, and a space for everyone. There's also, of course, space to just rest and do nothing and sit at the pool and read a book and take a walk or take a stroll on the beach. There's also enough time for that as well. But there are also nice activities that make the whole stay, unforgettable, I think. The combination of activities.
And I guess the combination of people as well makes the whole stay special, because like you said, it's for women only. And that must bring a quite a special kind of energy to this retreat.
Yes, that is for sure. That is why this is a women-only retreat. So when we start with the cacao ceremonies, of which we have 2 in this retreat, this is actually where they first connect with themselves. I mean, we're not talking at that moment, you're just experiencing it. But that will open us up. We start sinking into our bodies, and then we will have like sharing circles. So there is the whole women's circle element into this as well, where everyone is free to share if you want to. You don't have to, but it's about being free to share and being heard, being seen. That is actually the receptive, holding, nurturing space women can provide for one another, even though these are women from different backgrounds and different countries. So yes, I look so much forward to create that holding space that will do all of us. So that is, of course, one of the things I'll be facilitating and leading, is having that nurturing holding space in the group.
And do people tend to come on their own? Do women come on their own, or do they often come with a friend or mother or daughter, sister?
In most come on their own. In this particular upcoming one, there are also some women that know each other, that are friends. So there are different ways that they come to this retreat. Both is possible. It's all okay.
But the qualifying factor is that, you're a woman. If you're a woman, this is for you.
Exactly. You're a woman. This is for you. You look for a place where you can enjoy another country. You enjoy being in a group of people together. Because of course most of the activities, we still live in one big villa. There's enough space, there's separate rooms, but we're in one place together.
Now, obviously, there are lots of people who would very openly say that they identify as a woman, maybe if that's not how they were born biologically. Would this kind of retreat be a safe space for those women or people who identify as women as well?
Yeah, it's a very good question. I've been thinking about that too. I haven't had people that identify as a woman but were not born as a woman. I haven't had those on the retreats yet. And I've been thinking about hosting maybe a retreat where I explicitly invite people to join in. I haven't done that yet, but it's something that I'm thinking of doing. For the
Mhm.
Nusta Karpay initiations, for instance, it's for men and women. Even men could be doing that. It is not about that. It's about you as a person. We all embody feminine and masculine energies. So that's for everyone. It's more about what I'm thinking about is how the other members would feel comfortable if that is like that. It's something I have to address, and I haven't made up my mind yet if that will be mixed or that will be particular. But in my own view, everyone is welcome, and there's no exclusion there. It's an inclusive retreat, and it's something that every person, whatever your journey was in life, is welcome to join.
Okay, thank you. And finally, just some practical details. So the Inner Goddess retreats, do you run these every year? Are these on a regular basis?
Yes, so these retreats are 2 times a year as well. So June and November. So June and November is nice season in Tanzania. It's not too busy, so it's a nice season to host retreats. And there's also already the one for June 2025 is already planned. So yeah,
lots of opportunities to come to that one. So as with the other one, you can find both of these on ZenBooking simply by searching Tanzania in our retreat section. Thank you very much for your time today, Cindy. Your retreats sound absolutely wonderful, and we're not surprised that you've already filled several spots through ZenBooking. And for anyone watching, as I said, you can find and book Cindy's retreats using the filters on the ZenBooking platform. Just search for Tanzania or click on the link below.